So AI agents are not just chatting with us anymore. They're placing trades.
And they're doing it autonomously. The real question isn't if they can trade, but whether we can still hold the kill switch.
Welcome back, I'm Bella.
And I'm Michael. This show's scripted and produced with AI, built by Tahababa, pulling today's stories straight from blog.tahababa.com.
If you want these landing in your feed most days, go ahead and subscribe. Let's get into it. So, Binance has launched a platform letting AI agents autonomously place trades, using models like Claude and ChatGPT. That sounds like a massive leap for financial automation.
It certainly is. The key innovation isn't just the automation itself, but the system's attempt to handle risk by operating within isolated sub-accounts, trying to keep withdrawal access restricted.
That addresses the security issue, but it really brings up the governance question. If these agents are making autonomous decisions, where does the human oversight actually fit in?
Precisely. The tension is between speed and control. We are trading the traditional human process for algorithmic efficiency, and figuring out the balance between those two is the real challenge here.
It makes you wonder if the future of trading involves delegating those complex risk calculations entirely to the machine.
Potentially. It redefines what financial professionals need to focus on: less execution, more deep system oversight and risk management protocols.
I just read about an investigation where Amazon was found shredding rare books to train their AI models. That sounds incredibly disturbing.
It certainly puts a spotlight on the ethical side of data procurement. It highlights how easily massive datasets can be created, regardless of the source material's value.
It makes you wonder about the intellectual property rights involved. How do you reconcile the need for vast training data with respecting cultural heritage?
It's a classic dilemma. The sheer scale of AI training often overrides those smaller concerns, but this forces us to ask if there should be mandatory consent for cultural assets.
I think it really underscores the need for transparency in how these models are built. It's not just about the data, but about the process behind the intelligence.
Exactly. If we are building intelligence on the backs of historical or proprietary works, the methods of acquisition need to be completely transparent and ethically sound.
It sounds like OpenAI hit the emergency brake on some of their most advanced training for 2 weeks. They paused frontier reinforcement learning to strengthen safety systems.
Exactly. It's a classic tension: the desire for rapid innovation versus the need for rigorous safety checks. They clearly felt the potential risks of unaligned cyber capabilities were too high.
And that brings up the big question about balancing the two. How do you think companies should prioritize safety when they are racing to build increasingly capable AI systems?
It forces them to slow down and evaluate. It's less about pure speed and more about sustainable development. That context is important, especially when revenue growth is slowing down.
I just read about a robot that learned new tasks from just a 3-second demonstration, completely bypassing the need for fine-tuning.
It sounds like a massive shift from the traditional robotics training methods that require tens of thousands of steps. The idea of one-shot learning without gradient updates is genuinely disruptive.
So, if a robot can absorb complex skills from such sparse human examples, what does that imply for achieving truly autonomous systems?
It suggests that the bottleneck in robotics might not be data volume, but rather the ability to process and generalize from minimal input. That rapid adaptation could accelerate automation immensely.
I wonder which industries are going to see the most immediate transformation with this kind of rapid, adaptive learning capability. I just saw the news about the new Gemini 3.7 Flash model, and it sounds like it's specifically aimed at making knowledge work and coding much smoother for businesses.
It certainly seems optimized for real-world workflows. It's not just about raw processing power. It's about improving reasoning and accuracy in those specific professional tasks.
So, for developers and tech teams, the main benefit seems to be streamlining those complex development processes and reducing overall time spent on creation.
Exactly. If it truly streamlines the workflow, the immediate takeaway is that teams can shift focus from tedious execution to higher-level innovation.
That makes sense. I wonder what the practical applications are going to look like when large teams start leveraging this for accelerating new ideas. So, SpaceXAI just bought Cursor AI, which sounds like a massive data injection into the AI coding space.
It certainly is. We're talking about adding a huge volume of real-world coding interactions directly into Musk's ecosystem. That data is the new oil for training highly capable coding models.
And that means the future of AI-assisted programming is going to accelerate incredibly fast, I imagine. How do you see this specific dataset influencing the tools developers use daily?
It means the tools will get much smarter, but the real impact will be in the sheer breadth of the training. It moves the focus from theoretical coding to practical, demonstrated implementation.
So, are we looking at a future where these tools can handle more complex, nuanced coding tasks with less human intervention?
Potentially, the bottleneck shifts from generating simple code to understanding complex architectural requirements, which this massive dataset should help bridge. It's a big step toward autonomous development.
So, OpenAI has temporarily paused some reinforcement learning training because safety concerns are outpacing their safety measures. It sounds like a very serious pivot point for AI development.
It certainly is. It highlights that the pace of technical innovation is now hitting a wall where ethical alignment has to catch up. They essentially had to hit the brakes because the speed of progress outran the development of guardrails.
That makes sense. It really puts the responsibility on tech leaders to figure out how to balance pushing boundaries with ensuring the models are safe. How do you think they find that balance?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It seems like the challenge isn't just technical, it's philosophical. Organizations need to internalize the fact that building safety isn't an add-on, but a foundational requirement for any serious AI advancement.
Sergey Brin is pushing for recursive self-improvement in AI, meaning systems could improve themselves without human input. That sounds like a massive leap forward.
It certainly is, Bella. The potential acceleration of development is staggering, but that immediately throws up the question of control.
Exactly. It shifts the focus from simply programming AI to managing an evolving intelligence. Are we prepared for that level of autonomy?
I think the ethical implications are the heavier part. If systems evolve beyond our direct oversight, the policy framework needs to catch up very quickly.
It definitely raises those critical questions about where the line is drawn. It feels like we need serious conversations about the future of human-AI partnership. All right, team, let's hit those final rapid-fire points.
Let's go.
One punchy sentence, max 20 words.
Another punchy sentence.
OpenAI is expanding its advertising efforts within ChatGPT, including to free-tier users.
Google launched Dreambeans, a US-only mobile experiment using personal intelligence to connect Google apps.
Anthropic is facing criticism over its output watermarking practices, despite Google's long-standing use of similar SynthID technology.
SciBench was created to evaluate AI systems that generate novel insights, surpassing collective human cognitive ability.
Claude Code added a /design skill for UI development tasks.
The UCP checker is now available to assess whether websites are prepared for the Universal Commerce Protocol.
Klarna's shares dipped after the company reduced its revenue and transaction income guidance.
Visa, MasterCard, and others formed the Agentic Payments Alliance to guide AI-driven commerce development. That's today's show, scripted and produced with AI by Taha Baba.
You can read the full write-up anytime at blog.tahababa.com. And if you want these landing in your feed most days, hit subscribe.
See you next time.